Welcome back. So far, we have seen the concepts of databases, data types, and variables. But we haven't seen how we can create, update, and delete entries in a database table directly with our nodes. This episode assumes that you already know the basics of Elyx, like node executions, operations, and connecting values, as well as being familiar with data types. If you aren't yet, we recommend watching the previous episodes on this tutorial series. So let's get started on how to interact with database entries directly in our canvas. We can do this by creating a variable which, as its data type, has one of our SQL database table nodes. For example, the blocks table. We must give values to all of its properties. Then, we will drag out a new connection and look for the Save New Entry in Database option. This added a new variable instance, but specifically, it called a new type of operation, the internal call. If we run it, we can see that it saves one new entry in the blocks table with the provided data. If we run it again, it will throw an error because an entry with that same ID already exists. We can update the row by executing the Update Entry in Database instead. Let's change the title field of our blog post entry. Importantly, following the rule that the values are only actually applied once the parent node gets executed, if we change the title field in the variable instance, since we will not execute it, its value will not be in use when we run the child internal call. Internal calls act as their own node, so executing them bypasses their parent variable instance. So let's change it in the declaration node to make sure that it is carried from the very beginning. In this case, we can add a temporary test value. Then execute the internal call to sync the changes to the database. We can see that the title has changed when looking at its row in the table. We could do the same with the delete operation. These three operations, or internal calls, use the primary key field to locate and update a row in the background. An internal call is an operation that lives within the body of a variables node, and it uses the existing value of the variable to carry out its execution. In other words, it is aware of its parent node's state. Anytime a variable has the data type of one of the SQL tables, they represent a row, but the internal calls still need to be executed in order to sync the data, meaning that changing the value of the variable alone will not affect the row in the database until the save, update, or delete operation is executed to take the latest values and sync them. An internal call can only be triggered on a variable instance node, and the variable instances should always appear for the first time after the variable declaration has executed. So the variable declaration, the one with the label new, should always be an ancestor of any of its instances, except when variables are declared in the global scope, as indicated by the global label, meaning they are on their own in the canvas and nothing connects to their execution socket on the left. Which leads us into the concept of scopes. But for now, that is all for this episode. We will cover scopes in the next video. Scopes are the levels of depth at which your logic is executing, and help explain when a variable node can be used, as well as why some nodes can't be connected sometimes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon so YouTube notifies you when Elyx posts more tutorials or announcements. See you in the next video.